What's up everyone, it's WhiteBox here. Today I'm going to show you how to get Need for Speed assets into Blender and how to get them into Unreal Engine. The tools we'll be using on today's video is the Need for Speed Asset Exporter by Hazleo, Blender of course, and Unreal Engine. I'll be showing off a few other tools that may help viewing the assets. So let's get started. First off, we're going to want to find out how to extract the files into something that we can get into Blender. So I'll have a link in the description to Leo's tool here, the Need for Speed Asset Exporter. Download the one in the description and we'll get started from there. Alright, so you've downloaded it and you extracted it to a folder, so it should you should just have these files here, the 4 files here. Now you will need a game downloaded that you're wanting to extract from, or at least the tracks folder. For this video I'm going to be using Underground 1 since that's what I'm mostly working on right now. So we'll go into the tracks folder. So this stream L1RA.bun, that's going to be pretty much the entire map. These two right here I believe are drift tracks or drag tracks, and I haven't really tested all these other ones, but there's some different assets in there as well, I believe. But we'll be taking the whole map right now. So I already have it in this folder here. So for this program, you can't just run a program. There's no interface for it, so you're going to have to open up command prompt. Now, if you have two hard drives, you're going to have to switch to the current one. To do that, you're going to type cd/d, and then whatever location the exe is in. And now you should see that we're inside the folder. We're going to type asset dumper.exe. So the syntax for this. Alright, so we're going to type asset dumper.exe, the game, which is underground, so UG, the syntax here. These are the syntax you'll be using. Underground, and then the input file would be the bun, so this entire file right here. Type that in or paste it in. Then for the location, you might want to put them under parentheses, otherwise it may goof up there. So this is where you want the files to extract to. So hit enter there. It's going to extract. Alright, took a little bit there, but it has finished upping. You'll know when it's done when it tells you. So you should have a models and textures folder now. Now this will be basically all the assets in the game. These are separated by the zones in the game, the loading levels. They have the scenes are split up. So each letter, A is a different scene, B is a different scene. Since we have all of this, we are going to now go into Blender. So I'm using version 2.78. Many of you might be using 2.8, the newer version. Maybe a little different than what I'm doing here, but there should be the same functionality. So we're going to go to File, Import, then just OBJ, the wavefront. Now the current part of the map and Project Universe that I'm working on is K. This is mostly what the work has been done on, so let's just import one of these here. Now this is a terrain shop. So this will be part of the terrain here. So this is just the OBJ we're getting here. So we actually need to get the MTL as well. Make sure you're selecting the MTL first and then the object second. Alright, so now we have part of the map here. Move around in Blender, middle mouse button to move the camera, shift middle mouse button to move yourself. If you have a keypad or numpad, if you hit the period button, it'll jump to the asset. You can change the rotation of the asset under the object panel here, and it will be set to 90. You'll just have to rotate it to 0. Now you may, if you are not seeing textures, and you may just see this, just go down here to the bottom. You'll see the shading viewports. You just hit texture. You should be able to see that there. Hit tab to go in the edit mode, and this you can make geometry edits and stuff like that. And I'll go more in depth about that in another video. Over here you'll see the materials and the textures on the materials. If you select a material, it'll show the texture. So if we go into hit tab, and then we select a material, this material has this texture. Same with the other one, you can hit the select on that. Okay, so I'm going to show you a tool that may make this a little bit easier. So download a tool called Neosys, and this will help us view the models and make a little view. So download Neosys, you open up your files, go into the folder. It should be able to open the objects with the textures already on them. So you go through here, hit this red button. This will be the backhaul faces, so it actually shows up because it's the normals are bad on this for some reason. So as you can see, you just view objects in here before you import them, or you can just import a bunch of objects at once in Blender to see. But this is another way you can look at objects. Alright, so let's get this into Unreal. To download Unreal Engine, you just hit this. We are using 4.18 for Project Universe. So if you want to have everything the same in this video, you can download that, or you can download a more recent version. We can still migrate packages there. Create just a regular project on that once it opens up. Okay, so now we're in Unreal Engine. You'll have a empty map. Unlike I have here, you'll just have an empty map, but your editor should look about the same. So to get those assets, we're going to have to convert them to an FBX file. So we go back into Blender, export, FBX file. I'm just going to call it road chop 8 for now. While you're exporting, make sure you go down here to forward. It's going to be the X forward and the Z up axis. I usually text selected objects so you don't export everything in your file. Modifiers aren't a deal here. Face smoothing usually. No leaf bones if you're using armatures. You don't want that in Unreal. We'll import this, export this. So now we'll pull it up here. Alright, and you should have a pop-up here like this. You can copy my settings here. You may want to import the materials. Importing textures doesn't work sometimes. With FBX, it's kind of wonky sometimes. Alright, so now we have the road shop in our engine. So if you can't see it, just hit F. It might be small, which it's looking like it is, or it is upside down. Okay, so we'll go into Unreal. We'll go back into Blender. We'll scale this up. The scale I'm using, it's going to be 2 to 1.5. It's going to be a scale in game compared to the original scale. Since Unreal Engine has different units. We're going to hit F. It should jump to the mesh. And right now I believe it is upside down. The normals are facing the other way. So what you'll do is go into Blender, hit Tab, and hit A to select all the faces. You're going to hit Control F and hit Flip Normals. Go back and export it again. And then you go up here, make any changes. You're inside the mesh properties, asset re-import. That should be facing the correct way. Now, to find the textures that were on the mesh here, we're going to go to the material properties. So we'll go look for this texture right here. So we're going to go to the texture tab. Down here, you'll see the source. You'll hit this file right here. So now we're in the texture folder. Now we're looking for this texture right here. So you can copy that back to the folder, into the texture folder. And we'll search for this texture real quick. Alright, so now we have this texture where we can just hit that. We can drag it in, or we can go in here and just type in this right here. Okay, we just ran into another problem. So when it comes to these texture, they're all DDS, so Unreal doesn't take DDS files. So I'm going to show you with Blender how to convert them to a PNG. So let's say we have this file. We're trying to get this texture here. You're going to open another window here just by dragging this out. There's a little icon here. We'll go to UV/image editor. Now this is where you can edit your UV maps here, but we're not going to be doing that right now. So we're going to go to image, save as image. Now you can put it in the same folder if you want to keep it there. We're going to go to PNG, 0 compression, 16 color depth, and save as image. So now we can go back in here, grab the PNG, export. So we have this texture in here. Now this texture does have a weird alpha on it, so it's not a very good one to use as an example, but I'm going to still show you how to do this. So we're number 2 material, so we're going to go back into Unreal, open the number 2 material, and you will have this will just be what you have here. You have a base color for the material. You can delete that. Just drag in the texture here. Drag this to the base color. Now this material might look a little messed up here. That doesn't look the best, but I can show you how to fix this real fast if you wanted. Now we're gonna open GIMP. This is a free program as well, so this is an image editing program. So I use this to fix the alpha channels on these, since Unreal Engine doesn't really support this kind of alpha channel. You could if you use translucent materials, but that's expensive. So we're just gonna do this. So find your texture. So we're going to go back, type in the directory here. All right, and so we have this selected here. We're going to open that texture. We're going to go to the top. We're going to go to levels. We're going to go to the alpha channel. And we're going to take this alpha level, set it all the way to max, hit OK, and then overwrite the PNG. Now we can go back into Unreal, open the texture up, hit re-import. Now we have a normal looking texture. Now, I hadn't ran into this issue before, so basically you just have to go into the texture properties and make sure the RGB is enabled, and then you'll just head back to the material, click on the texture sample, and make sure the sampler type is color instead of linear color. Otherwise, you'll get that weird glossiness. Alright, so now we're just literally going to throw our object into the world. And if you hit F, you'll jump to the object in the engine. Now the lighting kind of looks a little off here because I'm in a map not designed for this. So I'm going to show you how I set up my maps in Project Universe. So if you go to Add New and then Blueprint, you're going to want to hit Actor. That'll create a new blueprint class for you. I'll just name it a video map for now. So you'll open it up. This will be your map blueprint for part of the map. So we'll type in instance mesh. This will be the most used kind of a static mesh I use. So we're going to look for road chop. You're going to notice there's nothing there right now. So you have to scroll down a little bit, and to the instances, you check that. So you'll have one instance of the road. Let it compile shaders, and you can add other multiple instances, so they'll be on the same buffer. So one draw call for these. You can have two of the same, but you'll mostly use that for like boxes and barrels and stuff like that. Now with all that made up, we can just throw the blueprint into the map just like we did with the mesh. And if the positions are the same, they should line up. And I'll delete the old mesh, and now we have a blueprint which we can add more meshes to and edit them through the map and move them around together. That's what I'm using to create loading zones for each part of the map. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something in this video. Any questions, make sure you comment below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more tutorials and updates on Project Universe. Thanks, guys.